Oh, but what about the fallen angels of Genesis chapter 6, eh? How were they able to violate our species and animals to produce monstrous offspring, including giants, if they are supposed to be spiritual beings and not physical? Nice try, ancient aliens theorists, but I thought you were supposed to be researchers of ancient history, as am I. Unfortunately for you, because this Bible scholar is now about to explain exactly how this happened. As usual, you seem to have mysteriously and somewhat partially omitted this essential piece of evidence directly pertaining to this. For your own convenience, of course. And I'm now going to share it with everyone. Welcome to the Kebra Nagast. Behold, the awesome and very rewarding power of prayer. I knew that if I was to successfully debunk ancient aliens theorists who present this reasonable, albeit crafty argument in favour of creation by extraterrestrials instead of God, I would need to explain how the fallen angels, who were spiritual beings, I'll prove that to you now, were able to take on physical form and mate with our women and animals in Genesis 6 and the Book of Giants. How can this be possible? With God all things are possible, and the answer to this very important question, which demands a biblical explanation, is in chapter 100 of the Kebra Nagast. Please write that down, especially if you are a minister, because you'll definitely need it in order to defend our faith now that a new world view is shifting from evolution to ancient aliens, which, if successful, as crazy as that sounds, would be harder to disprove than the evolution hypothesis, because it's still creationism and closer to the truth. However, I have done exactly that in the previous video, so please check that out if you haven't already. Yes, God revealed this critical information to me shortly after I prayed this prayer, and it is gold dust for all Christians. In this highly regarded, God-inspired book of Ethiopia, which I read a long time ago as research for the Ark of the Covenant chapter in my book Jericho, it tells you exactly how this was possible, and even refers to these fallen angels as spiritual, quote, beings, who were made flesh and blood by God as a way of testing them, and of course they failed miserably, which he knew would happen. One thing the ancient aliens conspiracy theorists like to do is replace the word angels in the Bible with aliens to support their hypothesis. As a man of God, I can tell you assuredly that this is wrong, even heretical, and all who teach this or repeat it are making a grave mistake. I'm going to read chapter 100 of the Kebra Nagast now. Notice also that it says God made the angels of two elements, fire and air, but man was made of four, fire, air, earth and water, the four elements. Again, this coincides with the canonized Bible, where God fashioned man from clay. But more importantly, it differentiates the physicality of man or extraterrestrial from angel in a very big way. Everything in this chapter debunks the ancient aliens' hypothesis that we were created by physical ET life forms within our universe, which, as I explained in the previous video, is scientifically impossible because a superintelligence created our universe, which would include all physical entities within it. So, without further ado, here it is. The proof that the fallen angels in Genesis chapter 6 of the Bible were not aliens. Okay, please bear with me here because I highlighted a lot of paragraphs, but it's all there and it's all worth going over. Chapter 100, concerning the angels who rebelled. And there were certain angels with whom God was wroth. Now he, the knower of the heart, knew them, and they reviled Adam, saying, Since God hath shown love to him, he hath set us to minister unto him, and the beasts, and the creeping things, and the fish of the sea, and the birds of the air, and all fruits, and the trees of the field, and the heavens and the earth also. And he hath appointed the heavens to give him rain, and the earth to give him fruits. And the sun and the moon also hath he given him, the sun to give him light by day, and the moon to give him light in the night season. He hath fashioned him with his fingers, and he hath created him in his own image. And he hath kissed him, and breathed upon him the spirit of life. And he saith unto him, My son, my firstborn, my beloved. And he hath set him in a garden to eat and enjoy himself without sickness or suffering, and without toil or labour. But he hath commanded him not to eat from one tree. And being given all these things by God, Adam hath transgressed and eaten of that tree. And he hath become hated and rejected. And God hath driven him out of the garden, and from that time Adam hath abandoned his hope, for he hath transgressed the commandment of his Creator. And God answered the angels who reviled Adam in this wise, and he said unto them, Why do you revile Adam in this wise? For he is flesh and blood, and ashes and dust. And the angels answered and said unto him, May we declare before thee the sin of Adam? And God said unto them, Declare ye his sin, and I will hearken unto you, and I myself will answer you in respect of Adam, my servant. So the angels here, the ones that God knows are bad, they have this wickedness in their hearts. They revile Adam, and they're behaving like children, basically. You know, oh, come on, tell him off. It's quite pathetic behaviour, rather like these Illuminati Freemasons. They act in a similar way, you know, because they're possessed by these fallen ones. Anyway, let's carry on. For God had worked on behalf of Adam. Yeah? God is for us. Excellent. And God said, I created him out of the dust, and I will not cast away that which I have fashioned. I brought him forth out of non-existence, and I will not make my handiwork a laughing-stock for his enemies. And those angels said, Praise be unto thee, O Lord, for thou, the knower of hearts, knowest that we have reviled Adam, because he hath transgressed thy commandment, that he was not to eat of one tree, after thou hadst made him Lord over everything which thou hast created, and hast set him over every work of thy hands. And if thou hadst not told him, and if thou hadst not commanded him not to eat of one tree, there would have been no offence on his part. And if he had eaten because of a lack of food, there would have been no offence on his part. But thy word made him to know, and thou didst say, Assuredly, as thou eatest of this tree, thou shalt die. And he, after hearing this, made bold and ate. Thou didst not let him lack sweet fruits to eat from the garden, and thou didst not let him lack one to comfort him, and a companion like unto himself. And these things we say and make known unto thee, and we have revealed unto thee how he hath transgressed thy commandment. As if God needs to be told this. You know, these fallen ones, they're quite pathetic, as you can see. And the merciful one and the lover of mercy answered them on behalf of Adam, and said unto them, You have I created out of fire and air, with the one intent, that ye should praise me. Him have I created of twice as many elements as you. Here we go, the elements. Of dust and water, and of wind and fire. And he became a being of flesh and blood. And in him are 10 thoughts, or intentions, 5 good and 5 bad. And if his heart inciteth him to good, he walketh with good intent. And if the devil seduceth him, he walketh with him on an evil path. As for you, ye have no other object in your minds but praise of me, with the exception of that arrogant one who produced evil, and became an evil being, and was driven forth from your assembly. Here we go. And now, why do ye magnify yourselves over Adam? If ye were as he is, and I had created you of water and dust, ye would have been flesh and blood. But they aren't, yeah? And ye would have transgressed my commandment more than he hath done, and denied my word. And the angel said unto him, Praise be unto thee, O Lord, far be it from us. We will not transgress thy commandment, and we will not oppose thy word. For we are spiritual beings. Boom. It's right there. How much verification do you need? It says that they aren't flesh and blood, and then they call themselves spiritual beings. Shove that where the sun don't shine, ancient aliens theorists. You people are too dangerous to interpret my book. Now back off. For we are spiritual beings for life, and he is a creature of dust, doomed to folly. And now try us well, and put us to the test, so that thou mayest know whether we are able to keep thy word. And of course they weren't, as God knew, and they did worse than Adam. And when they had vaunted themselves in this manner, God, the lover of men, said unto them, If now ye go astray so far as this in transgressing my word, the wrong will be upon your own heads. For Jahannam, or hell, and fire and sulphur, and fervent heat and whirlwind, shall be your habitation until the great day. Ye shall be kept in chains, which can neither be loosened nor broken for ever. But if you keep truly my word, and ye do my commandment, ye shall sit upon my right hand and upon my left. For every one who hath conquered is mighty, and he who is conquered shall be overpowered. Now Satan hath no power whatsoever, for he hath only what he maketh to germinate in the mind, and he cannot grasp firmly, and he cannot perform anything, and he cannot beat, and he cannot drag, and he cannot seize, and he cannot fight. He can only make thoughts to germinate silently in the mind. Just like the Illuminati. There's no need to be afraid of them because they have no power. They just make you think that way. Yeah? And him who is caught up by the evil mind he prepareth for destruction. And if a man have conquered the evil mind, he findeth grace and hath a reward which is everlasting. And to you, according to what ye wish, there shall be upon you the mind of a man, and the body of a man. But take good heed to yourselves, that ye transgress not my word, and break not my commandment. And defile not ye yourselves with eating or drinking or fornication, or with any other thing whatsoever, and transgress ye not my word. And straightway there were given unto them with his word flesh and blood. Boom! There it is again. God has given them flesh and blood. This is how they became flesh and blood, from being spiritual beings. And the heart of the children of men, and they were content to leave the height of heaven, and they came down to earth, to the folly of the dancing of the children of Cain, with all their work of the artisan, which they had made in the folly of their fornication, and to their singings, which they accompanied with the tambourine, and the flutes, and the pipes, and much shouting, and loud cries of joy, and noisy songs. And their daughters were there, and they enjoyed the orgies without shame. For they scented themselves for the men who pleased them, and they lost the balance in their minds. And the men did not restrain themselves for a moment, but they took to wife from among the women those whom they had chosen, and committed sin with them. For God hath no resting place in the hearts of the arrogant and those who revile, but he abideth in the hearts of the humble and those who are sincere. And he spake in the gospel, saying, Woe be unto those who make themselves righteous, and despise their neighbours. And again he saith, God loveth the humble, and he holdeth lightly those who magnify themselves. And straightway God was wroth with them, and he bound them in the terror of Sheol, until the day of redemption. As the apostle saith, he treated his angels with severity. He spared them not, but made them to dwell in a state of judgment, and they were fettered until the great day. The word of God conquered, who had fashioned Adam in his likeness or form. And those who had reviled and made a laughing stock of Adam were conquered. This is where it talks about the Nephilim, the giants. And the daughters of Cain, with whom the angels had companied, conceived, but they were unable to bring forth their children, and they died. And of the children who were in the wombs, some died, and some came forth, having split open the bellies of their mothers, they came forth by their navels. Because these babies are so big, being the giants, they split open the bellies of their mothers. It's pretty horrific. Yeah? And when they were grown up and reached man's estate, they became giants, whose height reached unto the clouds. And for their sakes and the sakes of sinners the wrath of God became quiet. And he said, My spirit shall only rest on them for 120 years, and I will destroy them with the waters of the flood. There you go. There's the proof. Angels versus aliens. Well, if you stick to the word of God and you interpret it properly, it's angels all the way. Spiritual beings, not physical. I just want to remind all of those who seem to have just completely lost the plot. Oh yeah, we got Kanye. We got Kanye, Victoria. I'm fed up with how completely retarded you lukewarm Christians in these megachurches are. I got Kanye West. I got Kanye West. You got a freak show, pal.